we've checked the room, I've checked myself, the energy is open, so I'm going to move to the client and I'm just going to scan across. So can I connect with this person? May I connect with this person? Should I connect with this person? Do I have the capacity to connect with this person? And do I need to reinforce my own energy? So my energy is strong enough to keep its own strength in the face of the problems that this person is facing. Okay, so now I'm going to look and see the person there has got their earth connection, so that has gone off again. Okay, so that was at 8 actually. Now we're looking at 12 at the cosmic connection, which has also gone off. 15.3 at the chest, which is the sum of the 8 and the 12, also blocked. So then we're going to look at the 2.5s at the head, at the throat, at the chest, at the stomach, and at the pelvis. So the 2.5s are all open. So each of the regions is receiving its energy channel, but the channel for the person as a whole is blocked. And then we're going to look at the lymphatic system. How well is this person getting rid of their old cells and debris from their body? Blocked, 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 and blocked. So all the lymphatic passages are relatively blocked. They're not resonant. We're looking at their energetic capacity to do their job. And then we're going to look at the 1.1, the gateway between the energetic self and the effect of the pure energy on the physical structure of the person. So the 1.1 is on and open, so their yin or their hidden energetic aspects are speaking to and working with their surface, more physical, more structural aspects. And I want to see that all the cells in the body are under that management, so I'm going to envisage the feet just outside my circle, and I'm looking for the edge of the 1.1 pool. And that's fine to the feet, and I'm going to do the same with the hands, to the side, to the side, right to the end of the hand and up to the head. So the 1.1 is connected with all the areas of the body. But the driving forces, there's not enough energy coming into the body and there's not enough calming from the earth, so both poles are blocked. So let's look a little bit deeper now, and we'll look at the defensive capacity. So the defense is the tip of the iceberg. It's like our shields that protect us from things in our environment around us, from noxious fumes, from viruses, from angry people, from all the things that can upset us and make our energy a bit depleted. So if we're looking for the defensive capacity, is at 40% out of a potential 100%. And then we look at the mood, depression, anxiety, sadness, contentment, gladness. So despite the energy drivers being off, this person is still reasonably content with their lot in life. And then we're going to look at the 15.3 on the forehead, which is the sum of the energetic fields of the 5.7, which is the deep resource field, and the 7.8, which is the how well you manage your tissues energetically, using some of your resources to support the areas which are weak or vulnerable in your structure. And if the 15.3 is blocked on the forehead, then we look whether it has displaced to the side. And a displacement suggests the body is working around a block. So it doesn't mean the body has stopped working, it just has to divert some of its energy and some of its effort to get around an area where it can't pass easily. So 15.3 on the forehead is not present. Is it off to the left side? Is it off to the right side? To the right. Is it in meters? Not 10, 10 to 20 meters, 10, 11 meters. So there's an 11 meter shift. So that's a reasonably big invitation in to clear a block that's getting in the way of the energetic functioning of this individual. So let's look at the quality now of the resources, or the 5.7 field, from a physical point of view. And the higher the number, the better the quality of the resources. So going over to the side and then down on the chart, we've got 54, 55. And the top of the chart is 70. But off the chart is best. We're really aiming for infinity. And then we're going to look from a mental and emotional perspective. So going round again. 24, 25, 26, 27. So there's a bigger emotional component to today's problems than there is a physical component. And then we're going to look more at how the energy affects the structure. So I correlate this with the current account. How well do you spend the money that you have available to you, or the energy you have available to you? Whereas the other side, the 5.7, is more like the savings account. How well do you put away some savings for a rainy day, or if you need it at some point in the future? And there should be an equal amount on both sides for them to be in balance with each other. So from a physical point of view, we're at 1920, and from a mental and emotional point of view, (45, 46, 47). So on the felt levels, the symptomatic level, the physical problem is bigger than the emotional problem. But there is an emotional problem draining the batteries on the hidden side of the equation. So this is the yin side, this is the yang side. So do we have vibratory balance? Do we have organic balance? Do we have mental balance, hormonal, lymphatic balance? All of these are blocked. So I'm going to ask whether I can put on one of the energy drivers, or both the energy drivers, before I go any further, to get a bit more energy into the system. So can I directly put on any of the energy drivers for this person? No. So we have to work through the protocol. Can I open the lymphatics? May I open the lymphatics? Should I open the lymphatics? Is that the best thing to do before we go to the protocol? Because if the lymphatics are blocked, then you're not getting rid of your rubbish. And so they have priority today. And so the easiest way to do this at distance is to use the chart and to just make the plus sign to impose over the lymphatic balance, to hold it there and wait until there's resonance. Okay, and when there's resonance with the lymphatics, then I'm going to look and just see whether that has affected any of the other systems. So has it affected the hormonal system? Has it affected the emotional and mental system? So he's already starting to change just by being more vital in his ability to clear out his old cells and debris. And remembering that the debris within our bodies is mostly us, our old cells that we're getting rid of. So I want to see whether any of the drivers have opened, just with opening the lymphatics, and the 8 has opened, so the earth connection has opened itself without me forcing it to open, and by resolving the cause of it being blocked, rather than just opening it and then it would block up again, because I did open this last night and it blocked again this morning, so it hadn't got to the cause. And then at the 12 is still blocked, so there's still a problem there. So I'm going to ask, can I put on the 12? Can I open the 12? No. Are we ready now to go to the main protocol? To use the one here. So I'm going to go to the dominant harmonization is Acmos dominant, pathos, organic pathos, stimulation, environment. So I'm going to go to the page where the environmental subsection of the protocol is, and I'm going to ask, is there a geopathic leak, an ecological leak, an ambient leak? So there's not an energy leak, so an energy leak being like a safety valve that's blowing off steam from the energy system, but there is something in the environment interfering with the energy, and it has the first priority today. So is it a relationship aggression? Is it human energetic residue, which means that people are influenced by other people's energy within places where there are a lot of people? Is it a heavy metal aggression, a radioactivity, a mobile phone aggression, television, power cables, microwave, medicinal? So we have a medicinal aggression. So the treatment that this person is receiving is upsetting their energy, but not in such a high priority that it's come up under the pathos section. It's come up as purely a medicinal aggression, so we're going to just strengthen the energy in the face of this medicine. Okay, And for privacy, I'm not going to talk about the type of medicine at the moment, but I have just asked whether the medicine I think is the one that's causing the trigger. So I'm going to put that into the circuit. That gives me access to the information. So I use the medicine as a key, and then within the environment, because the environmental triggers under this section normally are impacting on some of our hereditary information and causing a reaction in our central energy channel, and because both poles of the channel were off, that makes sense. So I'm just going to ask first whether we need an essential oil rather than going through the whole protocol. But the essential oil is the first option on the main protocol anyway, so you can't miss it. Okay. So do we need to use an essential oil? And then I'm going to ask, do we need to do a full Acmos protocol? Do we just need the essential oil? Okay. Just because it saves me time going through the protocol in more detail later. I'm going to scan over the oils in my test kit. So we have lemon oil. So having chosen lemon essential oil from the test kit, we now need to decide what we're going to do with the oil. So we'll go to the method of application and ask, and I'm going to put the oil just there beside that line, and we're going to acmodynamize. So we're going to do a direct energy transfer from the oil, which is the harmony, it's the thing that tunes in with the problem in the person and strengthens his energy channel. So I'm going to acmodynamize, and I need to know where, so I'm just going to move to the next layer down and ask, is it going to be in the head, in the throat, in the chest, in the stomach? CV9, CV10, CV11, CV12, so right on the solar plexus, in the centre. So I'm going to now put this in the mass, and write conception vessel 12 on my little piece of sticky. So that the energy knows where its target area is. Even though the person is not here, we're all interconnected. I know this person, I have an energetic connection with him. And so we're going to start transferring that signal across the airwaves in a similar principle to a computer keyboard being able to redirect which position a satellite is in space. So we're going to just clean the surface first with the antenna still in the right side, and then we're going to go over to the left side, which is the strengthening side. So we look to bring the resonant wave from the solution in phase with the resonant wave from the person who has asked for help and magnify their effect. So in 1.1 we're opening the bridgeway between the surface and the deep and strengthening the connection, and then we go to 2.1 for strengthening the quality, the energetic quality of the lymphatic system. And then we go to 2.5, which is the cellular communication wavelength, so that our cells don't work in isolation from each other, they work together. And 2.5 is the vitality of the cell. How radiant is it? How much light and energy does it contribute to its neighbours and to the centre, which is where we collect our stocks. And 5.7, how well is this person able to tune or to pull their stocks, the extra energy from the cells towards the centre to build up the reserves or build up their savings account of energy. Because the savings account is on the inside of the bank, we need to go back and just check that the doorway, the bridge between the energetic and the structural, is open. So just we got a bit sticky there. And then we go to the 7.8. The 7.8 field is a centrifugal field. It's how well can he radiate out the energy from his stocks to the areas that need it most, rather than just it going in any random direction. It wants to be intelligently directed. A very strong pole there, and anything which radiates outwards eventually aids elimination. And then we go to the 8, the earth force, the earth connection. Now his earth connection was blocked both last night and this morning. And so he's taking up some strengthening there, but the pull is not as strong as it was on the 7.8, the elimination field. And we did find that the lymphatic system had priority just to open first. So the elimination has priority over the earth block. And then we go back to the 1.1 because we've been at a yin setting. So we're on the hidden side, the very energetic side, and we just make sure that the doorway between the physical and the energetic is open. Then going to 12, which is the driver, the force of the sunlight and the force from the cosmos that drives our energy, the light that keeps us alive. And then 15.3, how well do we control the dynamic between how much energy we store and how much energy we spend? And I think of it like a pressure cooker, keeping enough back to do the job, but venting enough steam so that we don't overdo the job or the pot doesn't explode or whatever. So it's just getting that fine tuning between the pressure or the intaking force of the centripetal field with the exteriorizing force of the centrifugal field. And this is what you're looking at when you're looking on the forehead at 15.3. How well are those two fields working in balance with each other? Now, because it has aspects of both fields, it has yin and yang, so we go to the top and just make sure that the bridgeway between the two is still open, the 1.1, and then down to the 17.6 to see whether there are more light or vibratory toxins to clear. Okay, because 17.6 is global, it has aspects of all of the above signals. So we go back to the top and just give it a final check, and that's okay at the moment. So I'm going to ask, is that all for strengthening? That is all for strengthening, and so we're going to move to the other side of the antenna, and we start to come out. And so as we spiral out of the acupuncture point, the conception vessel 12, which is the solar plexus, then there's lots of cleaning to be done. So this person is now letting go of the matter that was connected to that energy, so that they can clear it out, so that it no longer blocks their system. Okay, and at this point I'm going to ask, are there any negative memories to clear? There are. How many different signals? One signal. So in the energy, in the hormones, in the systems, in the cells, in the genetic memory, in the emotional memory, in the central nervous system. So we go to 11.8, the central nervous system number, and we just clear those memories. So we're looking at signalling that's got stuck in the brain that would then be sending out that signalling information to the body to react in a certain way that's not beneficial to this person. So he is meeting the signal from the oil in a way that can help him to cancel out that signal. And if the signal is no longer there, his body no longer needs to create a response. So it's calming down his response to a signal that actually is not beneficial to him. And so now we need to make sure that the bridgeway between our savings account, or our deep stock of energy, and our spending account, how well we manage the distribution of our energy, is still open, so that we don't trap any of those signals which are not helpful in the deep side of the energy. So just opening that doorway. It wasn't particularly blocked, so just a little taken there, and then we go to 17.6 on the right side to help this person have the energy to clear out any cells that were containing that old information, cells that are past their use by date and which should be eliminated from the body or broken down and recycled from some of their parts. So, okay, and that's done. And then I'm going to ask, is that all for aquadynamization? And then back on the protocol we have the list of questions of application methods. So that's all for dynamize. Do we need to harmonize, to reinforce, pathos, place, follow up, or inhale? Is that all for the essential oil? So that's all for the essential oil. Is that all for the environment? And I'm going to go back to the protocol and just scan. There's no longer tension over the environmental section. I take the oil out of there. there's still no longer tension there, so this issue is finished with. Okay. So we're now going to ask, is Acmos dominant? So when Acmos is dominant, we're dealing purely with the energetics. It's not to do with something outside, and it's not as structural as a medication. It's purely the energetic blueprint has some little wrinkle in it somewhere that this person feels it would be better to smooth out and to redraw. So we're going to ask, would that require an essential oil, a mineral, Acmo shell, Acmo beta, Acmo back, a trace element, a VAF, an ABC major, a homeopathic. Is it emotional homeopathic, a hormonal homeopathic, a general homeopathic? So the general homeopathics in our system tend to be drainage remedies. So taken to clear out from the energetic side, and the homeopathics provoke a response in the body. So the aim is to provoke a response to finish a process or to clear out a process that's already just sort of grumbling along in the background. So 4 to 5 different remedies. And we're going to ask if we need something from the top row. This is the remedy which comes into resonance, which tunes in with the problem. And we're going to then ask our series of questions. So it's CHA7CH. We're going to acmodynamize, so we're going to do a process of energy transfer again, because when the person isn't here, that's the most efficient way to communicate with an energy system. But we do sometimes need to just to send some items to them if that's what's best for them. But we're going to dynamize. And we're going to acmodynamize on the head, on the yin tang and forehead, governor 24, 23, 22, 21, 20, 19, 18, 17, 16. Governor vessel 16 in the centre, so right at the very base of the brain there. So we're going to put now governor vessel 16 underneath the mass. Ask how many of the granules of the homeopathic I need. 1. And that's going into the centre there. Okay. And then we just do the same process of scanning across, cleaning the surface. So quite a lot of cleaning needed there. It feels really strong. And then go to the left side of the antenna for strengthening or interiorizing information. Scan on the 1.1, so opening the doorway between the surface and the deep, or between the energy and the matter. 2.1, tuning the energetic quality of the lymphatic system. 2.5, tuning the energetic quality of the cells and the cell-to-cell communication of the area. So we're in a different area now. We were on the tummy before, now we're on the back of the head. 5.7, tuning the ability to pull energy in and store it for later use, so the centripetal field. And then 1.1 again, because centripetal field is yin, so just checking that the bridge is open between the matter and the energy. And then the 7.8, how well do we radiate energy out through our matter body and use it for our day-to-day activities of life. And then the 8, the earth connection. How grounded are we? How well do we connect with the earth? How well can we tap into that calming and cooling and yin aspect of our energy system? Because it's yin, we go back to the top and make sure the bridge between yin and yang is open, or energy and matter. And then we go to 12, the cosmic driver. How well can we absorb and use the energy from the sunlight, both to nourish our tissues directly and also to provide us with a spare reserve by collecting in the excess light from each of our vibrant cells to create a pool of energy or a reserve at the centre of the chest. The 15.3, fine-tuning the balance between that intaking and outgoing of energy. I tend to think of it as like energetic respiration. Breathing in, filling our reserves, breathing out, both nourishing ourselves and then pushing with tension to help them to clear out when they're at the end of their time. Because there's aspects of both yin and yang. Go back to the top and then down to the 17.6 to make sure that any old light in old cells is cleared out, so that our body's waste disposal symptoms, our macrophages and our lymphocytes, can ingest the old cells and recognise them. Their chemical signalers are switched on so that they can be recognised as in need of elimination. Broken down, reprocessed, the waste products eliminated, and anything that can be reused. And is that all for acmodynamisation on the strengthening side? So that's all for strengthening. We will go back to the other side and we clear the more structural side, so giving the body the information it needs to get rid of the cell casings. After the light has left the cell, then our waste disposal cells need to recognise that a cell is ready for elimination. Okay. And then we ask, are there negative memories to clear for this remedy as well? So it's different from the last remedy, and the negative memories are in the energy and the systems and the hormones and the systems and the cells, and the genetic memory in the emotional memory. So in the emotional program, and is there more than one signal of negative memory? So the first is in the emotional program at 12.3. We have a physical constitution that we inherit from our parents and our grandparents and down our family line, and we also have an emotional constitution. So we tend to respond to things in a similar way to one or other of our parents, or to both of our parents, depending on how hardwired our constitution is with their information. And as we get older, we often start to show similar traits. We always think we won't, but as you get older, you notice yourself turning into your mother or your father. And there's another memory in the human program, the magnetic pollution, the blood, ambient pollution, peripheral nerves, elimination, relationship stress. So there's a stress with a close relationship. There are two emotional stress signals. One is called relationship stress and the other emotional stress. And emotional stress is with somebody or something outside of yourself that it's important, but it's not as important as when it's somebody that's very close to you. If that stress is with somebody who's very close to you, a parent, a partner, a very close friend, and something happens within that dynamic that you're not comfortable with, it gets past your defences much deeper, and it's actually the same signal as the centripetal field, which is why it gets drawn straight into your heart and the centre of your chest. And that's often where people will physically feel that emotional impact. So on 5.7, I'm going to clear that type of stress. Okay, so I'm now going to just check, is that all for negative memories? And then we go and we clean, make sure the 1.1 is still open to allow the cleaning from the energetic side. So let that trapped energy out and away, because it's not useful to that person. And then clean the surface to make sure that we don't leave that signalling information in the vicinity of the person, so that they don't tune into it again. So it's about being thorough, this last part of this protocol. Okay, is that all for Acmodynamize? So we're back to our list of applications. That's all for Dynamize, so there's no longer tension when I just hold over there. So we need to harmonize, reinforce, pathos, place, follow up. Is that all for the homeopathic? So we're going to get rid of that pill. And going to ask if there's another homeopathic. So there's no tension there, so we've finished with that section. Is it a seasonal required, a yin-yang, herb, an ABC minor, other Acmos? Is that all in Acmos? And then go back to the dominant harmonization and just check that all of these boxes are now clear. The person will give you as many things to deal with as you have the time, and they have the energetic capacity to deal with at the time, and that's very important. If they don't have the capacity to deal with the effect of the restructuring that they have to do in response to anything that changes within their energy system, then they won't change the big issues straight away. So it's a bit like building a house. Before you can build a house, you have to dig the foundations, and you have to build the foundations, and those are unseen. and unfelt when the house ends up on top of it. So the body is our house, and how well we build it depends on having a strong foundation. Okay, so it's Acmos dominant, pathos, organic pathos, stimulation or environment. That's all for the dominant harmonization. Is this page complete? So now I'm going to go to the chart, and I'm just going to scan up the defences and see whether we've been able to reclaim those defences. If we reach 100%, which we have, then that person has done as much as they need to do today to get their shields back to full capacity. And the mental quality was at gladness, and now we're right up at the top of the chart for that as well, so it's serenity. We'll look at the quality of the field, so the 5.7. Way off the chart. And from a mental and emotional point of view, because that was the one with the block before. Okay, and then the 7.8, the management field, the irrigation with energy of our cells, and it's up in balance with the other, and the mental and emotional aspects of that field. Okay. So we're going to check the 17.6 on the chest, which is the sum of the 15.3 and the 1.1. So we have vibratory balance, organic balance, mental balance, hormonal balance and lymphatic balance. So everything according to the chart is back in order. And we're just going to clear through the rest of the protocol to make sure that we don't miss anything on the way out. So I'm just going to ask, the first page is complete. Is there anything in pathos? Is there a residual pathos? Have we created debris in the body by letting some of these old energies go to the point that the person doesn't have the capacity to clear them? And that isn't the case, so there's nothing in residual pathos today or specific pathos, so pathos is clear. Is there anything needed in compatibility analysis? The medication is now compatible. So we did have to do work with a wrinkle in the medication, but there's no major incompatibility with that medication anymore. Is there anything needed in nutrition? This page is complete. And is there anything else in stimulation for today? Any maintenance points needed at home? A minor organic pathos at this time. The page is complete. Is there anything else in environment for today? Is there an acmogram needed? This page is complete. And then chromoregulation. Is there anything on 2.1? On 17.6. Is there a change in the home colour? So we continue with the home colour, but there's something on 2.1 for here. Is it the same colour? Is it a different colour? So we're going to go to the colours, and we're just going to see on 2.1 which colour is needed for now. So pop that on there. I'm going to set my antenna on 2.1 and just have it pointing in the direction of the mass which is representing the person. And we'll leave that to cook for 3 minutes. So all the readings are back into balance. So this balance is complete, and the colour is just to finish off. It's a bit like sort of just the final clean up at the end.